Okay, so I've been reminded by one of my viewers that you can actually just talk to your different party members at any time. Now, the thing is that because this game has exclamation marks above your party members when everything big happens, I just kind of assumed that your party members never really had anything to say until big events happened. That's actually wrong. Every time you complete quests, there's a chance that your party members may have something to say, and I basically just never really spoke to anyone, apart from, when I accidentally click on them. So what I really need to be doing is chatting to these people as much as I can. So what we're going to do at the start of this episode is we're just going to have a chat with all of these people and just try and get as much content out of them as we can, before we go on to the next big house over there. So seeing as we've just cleared out the pits, let's have a chat with Fane and see what he thinks about what's happened to his people over there.
Can't talk now.
Oh, well, doesn't that just put massive dent in that one? Hang on a second. Right, Fane. Is it because you look like a dwarf? Because, I'm not going to judge a man on his height. Is it genuinely because of that?
Just when I think this land holds no more surprises, I find myself in some place even more dismal than the last.
I think it genuinely is because of that. Okay, I think it's because he's disguised as someone else. He genuinely doesn't want to talk about his past and his secrets or whatever, so let's just continue.
Still, at least this is an interesting variation on dismal.
Alright, well, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff here, and when I accidentally click on them, I do see all of this stuff, but I never really talk to them, so we're just going to go from top to bottom. So, I don't want to accidentally click on anything that I shouldn't, because of course, the way your party members actually feel about you as a party leader can actually change if you talk about the wrong thing, so I'm not just going to click on the wrong thing as I go down. So now that you're here, what does Fane think you should do?
Do what you want. What does it matter?
Well, it doesn't seem like he likes me very much, does it?
My people are gone. Worse than gone. It's all pointless.
There's a lot of different options here. Can you just give me a moment to read all of them? You're curious. His people, the Eternals, what were they like?
This is perhaps the first intelligent question you have asked.
Wow.
After all, one should always try to learn from one's betters.
Yeah, I'll just bite my tongue and let him continue. Basically, just stay silent. That's what that means.
My people are a race far beyond anything that exists in the world today. We seek to master the secrets of the universe. We craft wonders to last through the ages, long after your crude tools have rusted to nothing.
Right. These wonders. Ask where are these wonders now if they were built to last.
I do not know. There are rumors that some have been found at the Black Pits, an oil field on Reaper's Coast. I was trying to uncover the truth when I was waylaid by these magisters. But wherever the artifacts of my people are, I will find them. We have not simply vanished into thin air.
Yeah, what did they look like? Because, kind of like me, everyone just seems to be dead.
There is a great variety among our people. Some are tall and lithe, others short and muscled. Some come in a variety of eye-catching colors. Others you can barely see at all. This is what makes you such an abomination, you see. You look almost exactly like every other creature of your race. Doubly so, now that you're dead. Walking through this world is as repulsively bland as staring at a wall for a century. After a while, the very sight of you disgusts me. No offense, of course.
Wow, I didn't know he hated me so much. Well, because of saying that. Correct him, he keeps using the present tense when you should be using the past.
No, I should not. Not yet. Not until I know what truly befell my people. And, after all, I am still here, despite the Voidwoken's best efforts.
Well, change the subject. Okay, well, that's One topic we've discussed. And now we've got one thing out of the way that we've talked about. I wonder how many things we've actually completely missed out. And of course, we're just talking to Fane right here. So that looked like with an intense conversation with that internal. Ask Fane if he's okay.
I could be worse. I mean, I could have spent several millennia in the clutches of the void, so...
Well, lay a hand on his shoulder. I'm here if he needs you.
Thank you. That means... something.
Well, yeah, what happened?
The Eternals. They're not gone. Or, they are. But they're not dead. They're in the void. The Seven threw them to the void. They damned them to that. To an eternity of torment. And they did it in my name. They did it because of me.
Yeah, I do feel bad for him. Like, all of his people are basically dead, so I shake my head. I'm so sorry.
Fane knocks your hand away with a snarl.
I am not here for your pity. This is my fault. I will not hide from it. I gave them my research on the Veil. I gave them a prize to snatch from the king. Worse, I gave them a weapon to use against their own people. The source of the Veil would have made them unimaginably powerful. And their theft left enough of a crack for the void to pour every wickedness visited on my people. Every evil that stalks this land. It was my fault.
To pour in were his last words there. I accidentally pressed the button there. Yeah, he can't blame himself. The thing is that I actually don't know a huge amount about Fane's past. I don't know everything about him, so to be honest, this could really be his fault, but I don't want him to blame himself. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, he's been an absolute bro and helped me through all of these quests. So, you know, I'll grab him by the shoulders. No, he couldn't know this would happen. It's not, you know, he's not at fault, or at least it's not all his fault, you know?
True or not, it makes no difference. I did what I did, and my people suffered for it. But if I am to honor their memory, I cannot sit here and mope. I must go on for them, for my family. My loved ones may be gone. The Seven may be corrupt, but I remain. The last true Eternal must survive. And perhaps, just perhaps, I can find a way to bring my people back.
Fane grips you by the arm, his hands strong.
Come, Godwoken. There is work to be done.
Before you go, ask him about something else.
Still, at least this is an interesting variation on Dismal.
Alright, now we're down to 5 things. So, why are you so ignorant about the world?
Ignorant? I dare say I have a better knowledge of this world than any creature living in it.
Saying that, I'm pretty sure that sentence wasn't even there. It's like, my selection of 5, well, it was 6 things and 7 things before that. I'm sure my selection of options is completely changing every time I actually talk to him, so next time I'm going to have a good read of everything on there instead of just doing a top-down thing.
Oh, I may be missing some social mores or be unaware of what king waged which war, but why nitpick?
You do seem to find history a little tedious.
Waiting for a letter is tedious. What I have gone through is torture. Your history is an interminably dull list of mortals that were born, achieved nothing of worth, and then died. Certainly one may have expanded his kingdom, or another invented some way of pickling fish, but what does it matter? Where will your kingdoms be in 100 years? In 1,000? They will all be dust, along with each and every one of your great heroes.
So, if all that's boring, then yeah, what do you find worth knowing then?
Your people and nations come and go, mayflies screaming their importance at a universe that cannot listen. But the universe is always there. The laws that govern your states change over centuries, but the laws of the world... Even when my people walked this land, a dropped apple still fell to the ground. I have yet to see the mortal king that can decree all apples must fall up from their trees, or order fire to produce cold instead of heat. No, these laws stretch to infinity. Understanding them lets you understand the world. That is knowledge worth having. Everything else is arguing over who has built the prettiest sandcastle as the waves creep closer.
Okay, so I'm sure my selection of options has changed slightly, so let's have a good read of some of these. The bottom two always stay the same, I know that much, so let's have a look at the top three here. Yeah, something incredible happened. You met with your god in the Hall of Echoes.
Indeed, so I gathered from your earlier prattling. I also met someone.
So, who did you meet if it wasn't a god?
Oh no, she was a god, by your standards. When I wore flesh, I knew her as the Lady Armadia. She was one of the 7 lords that served our king.
So, you actually knew the gods, or what I called gods. What were they like?
Naturally, they acted as any lords would. They bowed to their king and sneered at their lessers. And there was an awful lot of sneering, even back then. One can only imagine how much there is now.
Yeah, no matter the times, some things never change.
Yes, well, if you are quite finished wasting my time, I believe we have some business to get on with.
Alright. Let's see. Have you changed your mind about the divine power, given everything that's happened?
I always thought my path was laid out. Become divine. Preserve what's left of your people. It was such an easy narrative. But what if you could do more? What if you could save them all? And worse, what if you had all that power, but they were not worth saving? I don't know. Tell me, what would you do?
Let's see. This is a difficult choice, because I get a feeling that regardless of what I pick, it's going to have some sort of effect on how Fane sees me. The first one, if I had a wife or child in the clutch of the void, you do everything you could to save them. Or if I'd started this, I'd put it right. Or the Eternals doom themselves, if it were you. You'd live your life, stop worrying about the mistakes of others. Well, the thing about the bottom one is that, yeah, the Eternals doomed themselves, but they also caused problems for a lot of other people, so you'd have to do something, right? Thing is that if you had a wife and child in the clutches of the void, you do everything you could to save them, yeah, but I don't know. It's either 1 or 2. I think I'll go for number 2, because it's kind of more generic. It's avoiding just the whole void thing. If I'd started something, I'd put it right.
Fane nods slowly, lost in thought.
You're not entirely wrong. Then again... Thank you. I will have to think on this.
See, now look how many options we've got. Yeah, what do you think about the time we spent together? Bear in mind that's not an option we had to say to him before.
It has been unlike anything I ever imagined. To explore this world with you, to see this world through your eyes, even metaphorically. Well, it has been a privilege.
Well, there you go. What happened to you?
I fell victim to the enemy of all great minds. Fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of change. These are the things that poison civilizations. I was on the cusp of a glorious breakthrough, but my king's fear held me back.
That's a lot of options there. What was your breakthrough?
I discovered a veil hanging across the universe. A barrier of pure source. It was amazing. The kind of discovery on which a civilization turns. Who knows what secrets may have been hidden behind that curtain? But my king forbade me from further investigation.
And he purged you for being curious? That seems a little bit rough.
Well, certainly he was not pleased with my insistence that we investigate. But the king's word is law. Was law. But the reason I was purged was slightly less intellectual. After the king refused to let me investigate the veil, I brought the issue up with others, the 7 lords. Beneath the king in authority, but far above me. I brought them my research. I showed them everything. I had hoped they would help me convince the king of his error, but before they or I could act, I was arrested and, well, My sentence was carried out.
How do you feel about your king?
He ceased to be my king the moment he turned on me. I did nothing wrong. All I wanted was to further the knowledge of the Eternals. Who knows? Had I been allowed to continue my studies, perhaps I could have warded off whatever catastrophe befell them.
So what was he so afraid of then?
Do you know, I never thought to ask. Between him purging me and casting me into a traitor's tomb. What a foolish oversight! If only I'd had your prescience and curiosity, I could have saved myself centuries of pondering that very question.
If it's a barrier of pure source, he could have used it to gather great power then, surely.
I mean, yes. I suppose you could have drained the power from it, but that would have weakened it significantly. It would be quite irresponsible. After all, the power of the thing is not the point. It hid something. Who knows what that might have been? The secrets to the universe could have lain behind that curtain. But I was not given the chance to find out. Now, I fear I never will.
Alright, we've still got more stuff to talk about. See, this is what happens. Look at all this stuff we have to talk to, like, Fane about. I've still got 2 more people to go with. Jeez. This is what happens when you just don't talk to your entire team for the entire campaign. And we're only, like, what, halfway through? Okay, so, Fane, what was the Eternal Civilization like?
The skeleton stands quietly for a moment.
I'm not sure. Centuries in a tomb can warp one's memory. I remember the big things, of course. My library, my home, my king, my family. But the rest, it's all covered in a fog. And the more I see of this world, the thicker that fog seems to get.
Yeah. It's also the way he said it as well, that the whole my family thing came rather low in his list.
They came rather low in my life, alas. My wife and daughter always had to compete with my work for my attention, and my work was always stiff competition. They were often neglected. I wonder how many more years they spent neglected before. Well, before whatever happened.
Ask about his home. Can't imagine what it might have looked like.
Indeed you cannot. Nothing in this world compares to it. We crafted our homes from stone and crystal, using the power of the universe itself to keep them in place. Your people, on the other hand, seem quite content to sit about in smoking hovels, held together by straw and filth.
Wow, okay.
It's a mercy I don't have a nose. I cannot imagine how you stand it.
So, a library. He was a librarian?
I was a scholar, researching the secrets of the universe. Had I been allowed to proceed, my people could have ascended to godhood as one. An entire race of deities, with a perfect understanding of the universe. It would have solved all of our problems.
But then, if everyone's a god, then technically no one's a god then, are they? Anyway. So, you're intrigued by his ruler. What was the Eternal King like?
Once I would have boasted that it was the best form of government. Indeed, it was the only form of government we knew. Living forever under the rule of a wise king is one thing. But if that king should turn into a despot, if he should reject philosophy and the natural arts for the sake of power, well, I cannot imagine a worse torture.
Alright, well. Haven't we just got a lot to learn about Fane? And what's it added to my journal about Fane? Alright, well, there you go. There's a lot of stuff we've learnt about Fane then. Particularly about his family. Who next? Let's go with the Red Prince.
Go ahead.
So, Red Prince, what do you think we should do next? Oh, really? In the meantime, though, let's continue our search for a dreamer. In the search in Fort Joy proved to be less than fruitful. Okay. Oh, this is going back quite a way. So, those assassins trying to kill the Red Prince. Is he worried?
Gods no. Though they are a nuisance. Believe me, a prince of the House of War survives his first attempts at assassination in the crib. His mother is not so much his keeper as his bodyguard. Though I must admit these fellows are rather tenacious. Do you tire of their attempts?
You say that, they only tried it once. I was back on the first island, that was a long time ago. Yeah, no, there haven't been many besides. They're a good exercise.
Precisely. And it's precisely this sort of understanding that makes me appreciate our journey together. Quite a novel thing for me, this together concept. How about yourself?
Hmm. Honestly, I mean, technically before we actually came here, my character was actually by himself, so we'll go with the first one. I'm alone, and this is all quite new to me as well.
How lucky you are, then, to break your insular habits with my exalted companionship.
Honestly, yeah, it's good to have you around.
I'm in rather good spirits after that invigorating fight, so I think I'll return the compliment. It's good to have you around.
Wow, we had to build up to that one, okay. Okay, who is this Bramos? Is that he is to seek out? I have no idea who that is.
Bramos the Wanderer. He's a legend among lizards, the greatest dreamer of them all. The one that has mastered the dark of horror sleep and has found sanctuary amid its horrors.
What is horror sleep?
The most inhospitable plane imaginable. A realm of insanity and death beneath a starless black.
I'm calling it now. If you ever meet him, he's probably gone insane.
Picture a maze filled with your greatest fears. Picture haunting that maze forever. That is but the first step into horror sleep.
Why would you ever want to venture into such a place?
Because if one braves the absolute terrors of nightmare and finds sanctuary there, one is safe even from the void. That's right. Horror sleep is a realm feared by the cosmic menace that is the void. Ideal location for a summer house.
Okay. Let's see. How royalty finds life on the road.
First, I admit it was all rather tiring. I was, after all, marched out of my own empire, and I've been hounded by the odd assassin ever since. After that came the indignity of the collar and incarceration. But ever since we decided to be so bold as to bid our farewell to Fort Joy by any means, it's all been rather fun. Oh, I could complain about the food and the lodgings and the sheer barbarity of the common folk, but in truth, all of that fits within the larger frame that is adventure. Adventure is precisely what my life was missing.
Okay. Let's see. It's been good to hear that he's taking such a liking to a life on the road.
Yes. As long as that road eventually leads all the way back to my throne, that is.
Let's see. He hasn't really explained what led to his expulsion from the ancient empire.
He sighs, rather dramatically.
Oh, perhaps that's because I don't quite enjoy broaching the subject.
I don't want him to hate me about it if I ask him, so... You know, it's fine if you don't want to talk about it.
Thank you. But I suppose you've earned the right to know.
I was kind of hoping he would go that way around it, but good. Go on, tell me.
The long and short of it is that I was banished because I was found in bed with a demon.
What? A demon? How in the hells have you ended up with a demon in your bed? I mean, you know, to each their own, but still, a demon?
Because I invited her in, of course. How else? You clearly have a hard time understanding all this, so let me paint you a picture.
No.
I am a prince of the House of War. There are others with that title, but none of them are the Red Prince, the jewel in the crown of the Empire. I lived in the Forbidden City, a vast complex of palaces that houses the royal family and its servants. No others are allowed to enter it. As for myself, I was never allowed out. That is the price I paid for my genius. I was too valuable to be exposed to the dangers of the outside world. All the wars I won, and I won them all, of course, I won from the comfort of sofas.
So you didn't really win them then, did you? You just kind of assisted.
Bring me information, and I will deduct, then instruct. From amid the ultimate opulence of my quarters, I expanded and very much ruled the empire. I had it all. And frankly, I got bored.
From the sound of it, he suffered from a gilded cage syndrome.
Exactly. I did not suffer the boredom of some spoiled brat. Mine was the absolute absence of challenge, the longing not simply to watch the horizon, but to journey towards it. If I could not experience the joys of the world beyond, I had to bring the world to me. Miraculous what a sorcerer can do with a little arcane lore. I summoned demons, the most dangerous game in the world. But they knew they met their match in me, and so we conversed. We drank wine, we played chess. Converse with demons, and you learn of the shadows behind creation. Drink wine with them, and you have visions of worlds beyond worlds. Play chess, and you know that one wrong move is certain death. My mind rejoiced. Now for the body, I reasoned, so with a certain succubus I spent nights that would surpass your understanding.
Okay. I've never heard of such supreme decadence.
Why, thank you. I spent a whole year in the company of demons, every night atop the white library tower of my palace. It was my great study of existence. It was my supreme joy, even if...
Even if it led to his downfall?
Yes, even if it led to my downfall. What happened next was simply unforeseen. One moonless night, the succubus that was my lover turned to me, fangs exposed. But I could tell from the glint in her eyes she wasn't bent on our usual fang play. There was no light in that glint. It was the darkness of the void, the wet darkness of spilt blood. And in short, I was afraid. I tried to move away, but it was too late. She was upon me. She had done it. She had outmaneuvered the Red Prince. Finally, I was vanquished.
Well, I don't want to know what fang play is. That's like a bit far in the description that I don't want to go. So what happened next? You can't just stop the story there.
She went for my neck, quick as a charging cobra, but then suddenly it's as if time ground to a halt. Something deep inside me welled up, a power I never knew I had. She simply froze under my stare.
Oh, that's his source ability, isn't it?
Then she screamed. A scream so abhorrent its ripples caused birds to fall dead from the sky. People covered their ears in vain as they went insane. The Imperial Guard forced itself into my chambers and found me with the succubus still on top of me. I believe the phrase is, caught red-handed.
Technically, aren't you always caught red-handed if your skin is red? Wait, we can't continue that? Guess I'll take my leave then.
What can I do for you?
Alright, well that's all he's going to tell of me. Well, I guess more detail would be a bit much. Alright, Ivan, what have you got to say for me?
How's my favourite god woken?
Quite a significant amount. Well then, I was wondering if I'd have enough to actually, fill an episode talking to these guys. I think he's probably got an episode's worth just in himself. Alright, Ivan, what do you think we should do now?
Let's track down my old pack and find out who's behind the contracts to kill Godwoken. Can't hurt to know who wants us dead.
Alright. The Magis have a list of known sorcerers, and one of them is a lone wolf named Riker. Does Ivan know him?
No. Heard of? Yes. From all the tales I've heard, he's a crazy one. Lives in a graveyard not too far from here. Here, I'll mark it on your map. He's got a lot of pets. I heard he takes them as souvenirs after every contract he fulfills. But I'll be honest with you, I don't ask too many questions about why. I don't, want to know.
Haven't I fought I've fought Riker already. I'm sure I have. Wait, hang on. Wonder how Ivan got his lone wolf moniker Silver Claw. I don't even know what a moniker is.
Ivan smirks and shakes his head.
I'll spare you the tall tales we usually tell. When a new cub joins up with the lone wolves, we interrogate them. Then, a very complex equation decides their new moniker. I don't remember all the questions, but I remember enough to give you a lone wolf name if you want one. So tell me this. Which of these scenes attracts you the most?
Well, now I'm going to have to read all of these. So I've got a dark night in a filthy alleyway under a shadow cast by the light of a full moon. That sounds awful. By felt tents in a desert oasis, in the heat of the sun burns down upon you. That doesn't sound very good. Alone in a shaded by forest canopy, your steps silenced by soft brush underfoot. That's the best one so far. Anonymous in a busy city square full of hollering crowds and overpowering scents. No. Masked and dressed to the nines in an opera house moments before the curtain raises. No. You know what? Still number 3. Alone and shaded by a forest canopy, your steps silenced by soft brush underfoot.
Ifan nods and raises his eyebrows, a slight smile brightening his face.
And then, target in sight. What's your preferred execution method?
Okay. So we've got savage, hammer to the face, drinking in the fear of their final moments, or a droplet here, seasoning there. Was it the bloody flux, or was it you? Or unseen, you slit their throat before they even know you were there? Or whether calling down the elements or calling upon demons, you prefer the magical touch, or darling please, you prefer to manipulate others to do your dirty work for you. Well, seeing as I'm actually a rogue, we're going to have to go unseen. You slit their throat before they even know you're there.
Right.
Ifan scrawls something on a little piece of paper and hands it to you.
Here we go.
On the page in thick black letters is written Silver Claw.
Oh.
And of course, that won't do. I'll call you, Shadow Raven for the moment.
That's actually not bad. Shadow Raven, I like it. Okay, so I'm curious. Can Ivan elaborate on the tale of how he was caught by magisters?
His eyes glitter as he stands tall to tell the story, hands waving expressively. You can see it's a story he's used to telling, one he enjoys weaving for an audience.
So, underneath the tavern in Driftwood, there's a place I feel right at home. A delightful little hive of scum and villainy. A few months back, I was relaxing down there after a job. Just a hint of Drudenay. You know, a hint. All of a sudden, a tiger prowls in. I jump up, but everyone else is just ignoring it. And then he picks up my scent. His eyes turn blue, and he leaps to pounce on me. A fury of claws and teeth. I flip the table and start scrambling for my crossbow. Nowhere to be found. And by now, the tiger's right on top of my eyeballs. So I do the only thing I can think of. I summon Afrit, my soul wolf.
Funny that's the first time I've ever been told what his wolf's name is.
And now everybody reacts. Screaming, scrambling around, pelting for the stairs. Drinks flying everywhere. And that pesky tiger? Nowhere to be seen. Turns out it was Drudenay messing with me. Stronger stuff than I'm used to. Also turns out some people don't appreciate spectral wolves tearing up the place. So some people called magisters on me.
Yeah, say you hope he's learned his lesson.
Not to freak out when I see mythical animals? You bet.
Ifan smirks and shakes his head.
Alright. Yeah, we've been on the road a while now. Where have you grown up?
I'm from the deserts of Mezd originally. My parents died when I was very young, no more than a cub. They were spice merchants, killed by bandits as we were trading on the forest roads. The elves nearby saved me afterwards. They found me hiding in a wagon and they took me in.
Ifan bites his lip, hard enough to draw blood.
They were my home until I was old enough to join the Order. Mother Melody always said I'd have a hard life. She saw it as fact, since I was born under the waxing moon.
Well, I actually don't know what the moon was like when I was born, genuinely. Seeing as we've been pressing number 3 for what led to Shadow Raven, I'm just going to press number 3 anyway. I was born under the full moon.
Ah, a lively one. Generous and high-spirited.
That's not me at all.
Good thing we get to make our own choices and live our own lives. Damned if
Generosity.
we'll be bound by the skies.
I'm the one who's taking everything. So, you grew up in the forest. Any tricks you can teach me?
For sure. Always carry a snack.
Ifan reaches into his tunic pocket and pulls out a strip of dried raw meat. He takes a tiny bite and offers the rest to you.
Ew, refuse the raw meat. I'm undead.
Suit yourself. You'd prefer something else.
Ifan rummages around the roll-down tops of his boots and grins in victory as he plucks a single mushroom from the folds.
Aha.
He hands you the mushroom with great ceremony, bowing as he holds it aloft.
I don't even have any eyebrows. I'm undead. Am I supposed to eat the mushroom raw too?
Oh, I wouldn't. This one's not for eating. But I'll tell you, it comes in handy if you're dining with someone who really needs to lose their life. And soon.
So just like that, we've gotten some food, which we can give to somebody else. And poison.
Ifan smiles and looks around before reaching
Oh, that's the
behind his
Druidine he was
sleeve
talking
and
about.
pulling out a tiny herbal wrap. The unmistakable scent of Druidine hits you as he holds it out to you.
The last weapon in the lone wolf arsenal. You know, for after the toughest jobs.
He winks and tips his fingers to his temples before loping off.
Alright, I think he's still got something else to say to me though.
How's my favourite god woken?
One last thing. Is there anything Ivan is afraid of?
Ifan raises an eyebrow and folds his arms, looking every inch the man you'd hate to run into in a dark alley at night.
Of course I'm afraid of things. Heights, the dark, even spiders, truth be told.
Saying that, there's actually 3 spiders in my room. I'm just keeping them there, just waiting for summer when all the flies come in.
I just do things anyway. The fear doesn't go away, but my body is used to the rush by now. Keep going long enough and, well, the intensity is how you know you're alive.
Alright, well,
Ifan
back to
claps
what
you
we're
on the
doing.
shoulder and beams at you, affection for you plain in his eyes.
well, there we go. That's how much information we've got from just talking to our party after all the adventuring we've been doing. So, if you've been playing this game and you haven't been talking to your party, have a chat with them. Anyways, so that's enough for one episode, so see you next time.